How can I believe more in myself?
I just expect everything to go wrong. You've got to find the thing that you can get obsessed over.
That's awesome. That's really powerful advice, man. So hi, and welcome to this new episode here. Today we have Evan Carmichael. Thank you so much for being here, Evan. How are you today?
I'm great, man. Thank you for the love. Thanks for having me.
That's awesome, man. Let's jump right in. Let's imagine that we had a time machine and we could go back in time and you could talk to little Evan. What would be the 3 life lessons that you would tell him?
The biggest one is actually relates to the book, Built to Serve, is figuring out the who. So my who is believe. It's my most important core value. Whatever your most important core value is, that's what you have to go back and tell them. So what do I tell little Evan? And it's funny because he's on the wall behind me. That's me when I'm 8 or 9 years old and my parents. And so I'm literally doing this, basically every day, which is little Evan, believe in yourself more. Believe that it's possible. Believe that you can do it. Believe in your ideas. Believe in your capabilities. And I actually used to hate this question because I can't go back, because I can't go talk to little Evan. But I started to love this question because the funny thing about it is whatever the advice is that you would give to your younger self is the exact same advice that future you is going to give to you right now. 95-year-old Evan is telling 2020 Evan the same thing. Believe in yourself, believe in your capabilities, believe you can do it, believe that you're more. So it's a great exercise to say, hey, whatever I would give myself advice to, you still need that advice right now, today.
Awesome. So this first one is more believing in yourself and being aligned with your value. How can I believe more in myself?
The 2 things that I recommend is 1, being around other people who are doing bigger things, to open your eyes, to give you confidence, to give you motivation. Your environment has been perfectly designed to keep you where you are. But if you start hanging around Alain, you start hanging around Steve Jobs and Elon Musk and these other people, they will pull you into a different field of possibility. So whether that's, in-person events, we can't do that right now with coronavirus, but whether that's, events that you could eventually go to, whether that's books that you can read, whether that's videos that you can watch, podcasts you can listen to start to choose your environment so that you're not stuck where you are is step 1. And then step 2, to believe in yourself, is to do difficult things. A lot of the things that we want to do, we'll tell ourselves, well, I can't do that. I'm too afraid to do that. It's too scary. It's too difficult. When I say to myself, scary, difficult, or hard, that means I have to do it because I said it. And so what you don't want to do is teach yourself that something is difficult and you don't do it. Something is hard and you play small. You have to lean into it. That's where self-confidence, self-belief, self-love comes from. Because if you teach yourself that there's something hard and then you don't do it, you're telling yourself that you suck. You're telling yourself, I can't do hard things. I can't do scary things. And then the next thing that comes up, you don't do it again. And the next thing, you don't do it again. You keep building this pattern. Where if you switch it to say, no, I do scary things, I do difficult things, I do hard things, when it comes up and then you do it, that's when you start to self-celebrate, pat yourself on the back, and that's where your self-confidence, self-belief comes from.
Okay, awesome. So the first one is about believing in yourself. What would be the second thing that you would tell your younger self?
Just start. Just start. Like that idea, start, go. Stop finding reasons why you can't win. Stop finding all the roadblocks that are in your way and just get started. I lost a $40 million deal when I was 20 because I had to have the perfect plan. And it was, again, back to fear, too afraid to launch something without the perfect plan. And I lost a $40 million deal because of it. So just start. That thing you think you want to do, great. Find a way to get started on it. You want to make a YouTube channel, pull out your phone and go make your first video today. Just start on your ideas.
Okay, awesome advice. Many people who are watching, they have fears, they have doubts, and they want to start, but they find always this reason why it's not the right time, it's not the right moment. Like they can do it tomorrow. Like, what can you tell these people? You see, because start, but how can you really motivate them to really push through?
Well, back to the first point, scary, difficult, or hard are not good enough reasons. Like the fact that you said that they're afraid, right? If you're telling yourself I'm afraid, you then have to now teach yourself that when I'm afraid, I do it. As long as it's not gonna, you're not gonna die doing it, right? Don't jump from an airplane with no parachute. Okay, that's just stupid. And as long as it's not against your values, right? Like you're afraid to go rob that store. Okay, great. Don't go rob that store, right? It's against your values. Most of the things that we're afraid of doing are not going to cause physical harm and are not against our core values, right? We're usually afraid of not even of failing. We're afraid of failing in front of other people. We're afraid of failing and then saying, well, who saw me? Who just saw me fail? And so that's not a good enough reason. So if you catch yourself saying, I'm just afraid, now you have to do it because you said that. I also enlist the people around me, my wife, my son, my friends. If they know, if they ever hear me say scary, difficult, or hard, to call it out, say, you said it. Now you have to do it. Just because, even if it doesn't have anything to do with your business or your goals, just because you don't want to teach yourself that something is hard or scary and you don't do it.
Okay, awesome. So this was advice number 2. What is number 3?
3, I would say, is expect to suck at the beginning. Whenever you're starting off something new, expect to suck. It doesn't mean that you suck as a human. I think you're great as a human. You just don't have the skill set yet. Well, how do you get the skill set? You practice. You model success. You do the work. You get out there. So a lot of people who, like, how many episodes of this show have you done?
So far, 4 episodes.
Great. Number 4 is already better than number 1.
Yes, it is.
and number 100 will be better than number 4. Like that's just part of the process. You need to expect to suck at the beginning. And so what ends up happening for a lot of people is they make their first episode and then it's not very good. And they thought, wow, I thought I would be better than I was. Like that was really bad. And then they quit. Maybe they don't even release the episode because they're so embarrassed by it. And so I want to flip that. I want people to reward themselves for the effort that they're putting in, not for the results that they got. So if you reward yourself, you pat yourself on the back, you say, I'm great. Every time you win, you're only going to do things that you know you're going to win at. Therefore, you play small for life. Yeah. If you reward yourself for trying your hardest, then what's going to happen is you're going to achieve so many more amazing new things that you never thought were possible because you didn't give up after the first time when you got up there and you sucked. Like you didn't just get on a bike and ride it. You didn't just get on some skis and right. You fall down 100 times trying to get down that hill the first time. Like you're going to suck at the beginning and that's okay. Again, it doesn't mean you suck as a human. You just don't have the skill set yet. And with practice and repetition, you could do great things. So at the beginning of everything, I just expect to suck. I just expect nobody to show up. I expect no results. I expect all my gear to break. I just expect everything to go wrong. And then if something happens, great. I just expect it. Now keep going.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the advice. So the first one is believing in yourself. The second one is about starting now. And the third one is about you're going to suck. You know what I mean? If people had to do just one thing to succeed, what would it be? One thing, one little thing.
You've got to find the thing that you can get obsessed over. Like, what can you be obsessed over?
And how do you find that?
Well, usually it's something that that makes you come alive, that is of service to other people. So I love doing this. I love talking to you. I love doing episodes. This is all I'm doing today is interviews and hangouts and podcasts. For me, this is amazing. For somebody else, that's torture. Not that I don't want to talk that land, just like in general, people don't want to be public facing, to get on interviews. It's not of service to them. So for somebody else, it might be taking pictures. It might be writing a book. It might be making art. It might be designing clothes. It might be making a new brand of coffee. Like, what do you love doing? What could you get lost in that you look up and 6 hours just went by and you say, well, what happened? Where did all that time go? Right? There are some activities that you could sit down to your desk and literally 6 hours later, you look at the clock and say, what just happened? I forgot to go to the bathroom. I forgot to eat. I forgot to do all this stuff because I'm just so into my work. And there's other things that you would do, for me, like accounting. In 8 minutes, I'm already dead tired, looking for distractions, bored out of my mind, right? Like I hate that stuff, but other people love accounting, right? So like, what can you do that you love doing that time just passes by? And then figure out how can you use that to serve and help somebody else. so that other people are getting value from it as well. Otherwise, it's just a hobby.
So it means like finding what you love and then trying to make money from that.
For the entrepreneurs, sure. But even just for as humans, like humans are built to serve. You want to help other people. You want to wake up and feel like what you're doing today matters and means something. If you woke up today I woke up and like, I'm going to talk to Atlanta today. This is amazing. I feel like today matters. If you woke up today and felt like it doesn't matter if I show up today, it doesn't matter. Nobody will care if I do something or I don't do something. You're not going to do anything. This is a big problem. People have this ability to be great at something, to have a huge impact on the planet, but they don't believe that they can. And so they don't. So if you are just doing something you love, that's great. But you have to figure out how to tie that into helping other people and feeling like what you're doing today matters. Whether you want to turn it into a business. I mean, I'm an entrepreneur. I love turning things into businesses. But even if you never want to be an entrepreneur, just feeling like your work, what you're doing matters to somebody else and has an impact on their lives is a human fundamental need that will make you happy.
Okay, awesome. Let's say that I want to become an entrepreneur, and for example, I love painting. And right now I have a 9-to-5 job and I hate it, but like I have to pay the bills. And many people who are watching, like they want to be entrepreneur, they want to live their dreams, they want to contribute more to people. Would you advise them to say, okay, quit your job and then go full hardcore in your new business? Or like, how would you advise someone to go from 9 to 5 to really being fully alive? I mean, like people who want to become entrepreneurs, like to become fully alive and go into the passion and live from that.
Do you know what Nicorette is?
No, I don't. Nicorette, yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay. So I think this question is a personality question. So Nicorette is something that helps you get off of smoking.
Yep.
And it's like this little patch that you put on you and it gives you a little bit of nicotine every day. And the days go from cigarettes to Nicorette to then eventually nothing. Some people need to do that with their business. And some people can just quit smoking and that's it. Like if you want to quit smoking, some people have a really hard time just stopping. And some people can just quit. And that's the best way, that the Nicorette actually doesn't help them. So this is a personality question first. Are you the kind of person who can ease into things? Or are you the kind of person who will never do it unless there's no other option? If you're the kind of person who the only way to make any action is to say, I have to do it, no other choice, I'm burning the boats, I'm burning the bridges, and I got to go do it, then yes, then you have to quit your job and go become a painter and find a way to make that work, because you will only take action when your back is up against the wall. I prefer the other way. I like starting small. I like being able to start your business on the side. I would first find a job where I'm learning. Like if you hate your job, that really sucks. If you're going to be an employee, there's lots of jobs out there. Get one where at least you don't hate your life, and get one where you're going to be learning something. So if I'm an artist, I'm a painter, I would look for a job either inside some kind of painting studio, go find some painter who's had success, and how can you work under them? Because you'll learn a lot more working for another painter who's doing your dream job than you will working at a construction site or an accounting firm or a fast food job or something where you're learning zero, right? So the point of a job is to learn, not just to make money. Or maybe you want to learn marketing. Like maybe you're good at the painting, but you don't know how to market yourself. So you go get a marketing job to learn the skills, right? So think about a job as skill set, skill development. I'm going to make money, pay my bills, but I'm here to learn how to get better so that I can, again, turn my business into something big. At the same time, you're doing your business on the side, your evenings, your weekends. You have to make sure that you schedule time for it. A lot of people, when they have a job, they don't take their side hustle seriously enough. They work on it when they have time. It's not going to happen. You have to schedule it in like you would schedule work. You have to show up for your side hustle like you would show up for a job. If you don't show up for a job, your boss is going to call you and yell at you. You can't just not show up on Monday morning, right? You have to, but it's crazy because we'll do that. We don't want to let our boss down, but we'll let ourselves down. You won't show up for yourself. You'll show up for this job that you hate, but you won't show up for yourself. So you have to treat it as important. You're going to work for yourself. You're going to work on your dream. You're going to work on, even if it's part-time, evenings, weekends, And the goal ultimately is to make that big enough so that you can eventually quit your job.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
that's the structure.
How can you treat it as important? Because you said like, you have to show up for yourself. Like many people struggle with self-discipline, with productivity and all of that. And then you say, okay, you have to be your own boss. And you know, like you're already tired when you go home and you had the job, you have the wife, you have the kid, you have the dog. How can you make that a priority? Like, how did you make that a priority?
So step one is creating a schedule for your life. I'm a big believer that unless it's in your calendar, it's not going to get done. If you wait for yourself to have the energy or to have the inspiration, nothing's going to happen. So you have to schedule it, right? Success is what you're doing on a daily basis, not what you do in these one-off moments, right? So you schedule your life, not just, here's another funny thing about calendars. We'll put in all of our business stuff. I have to be here for this meeting. I've got a land today. I've got to put all the, but we don't schedule our personal stuff. Yeah. Where's the time, whether it's on your home business, where's the time with your wife or kids? Where's the time to walk the dog? Where's your time for self-care, for working out, for meditation, like whatever you need to do, reading books? Schedule your life. Have a schedule for your life. And you treat, this morning, I spend 30 minutes every morning with my wife, and we'll do a meditation and we'll go outside with the dogs. I schedule that in. So if you said, hey, can we do it at 9:30? Nope, sorry, I'm with my wife. Like it's as important. And if I cancel on that, it's as if I'm canceling on a business meeting. So it's got to be pretty important. So you think about what is your ideal life, the habits, because success is habits. So what is the life that you want to be living? And then you put that into your calendar. That's step one. Most people don't have that, and they're constantly in reaction mode, looking at their phone and reacting to other people's emergencies instead of you actually have an intention for what you want in your life. So if that's happening consistently, if you're finding consistently that you're not putting in the work, your schedule is broken. There's something wrong with your calendar. You have to fix it. If it's a one-off, then that's a decision to say, either I need to be more gentle on myself today, or I need to show myself what I'm capable of. Most of the time I lean into, I need to just show myself what I'm capable of.
Yeah.
Right. So even here's a quick example. Last night was crazy. Last night I slept 11 hours. I don't remember the last time I slept 11 hours. I must have been like in high school or something. I was up until 3 a.m. the day before, planning something for my wife, and just had a full day. And I passed out at, what time was it? 10 o'clock. No, 9 o'clock. And I woke up at 8. So it's 11 hours. And I'm okay with that because I don't do that consistently, right? Of the times that I stayed up until 3 a.m. in the past year, maybe I've had that a couple times a month because I get inspired, I get some idea, and I just stay up late. And I'll usually then wake up at 8 and I'll be on low sleep.
Yep.
And that's when I say, I need to show myself what I'm capable of. Like I'm still going to show up today. I'm not going to cancel on Alain. I'm still going to show up for myself and my routines and everything. And I'm going to give my best effort. And that's when I'm patting myself on the back because it's hard. Now it's hard. It's hard enough when you're on 8 hours sleep. It's going to be even harder when I'm 5 hours sleep. So typically I'll say, I'm going to show myself what I'm made of because I do difficult things. But if I did that every day, I'm going to fall apart.
Yeah.
My schedule is broken. So to answer your question, if it's happening in a one-off day that you feel really tired coming home, most of the time, 98% of the time I'll lean in on, I'm going to do it because I'm going to show myself because I do difficult things. And that 2% of the time, you might actually need to sleep 11 hours because you're messed up. But otherwise, if that's happening every day, your schedule is broken. You haven't designed your life with intention and you need to fix it.
What do you do in the morning to put yourself in a great mood and to have a great day? And does it change if you only sleep, for example, 3 hours and you have to be on top, or if you slept like 11 hours? Does it change or not?
I'm so excited for the 11 hours because it's like never happened before. It usually doesn't change. Again, it's not what you do in the one-off, it's what you do consistently. So 98% of the time, my schedule is exactly the same. If I needed to make a change because, again, I'm sick or just haven't felt well, or I'm traveling or something, then I might adjust a little bit. But it doesn't matter in those one-off moments. It's more, what are you doing every day? So consistently, what I do, I wake up, I'll quickly take the dogs out, have some water, like first thing in the morning, water, get some sun on my face, take the dogs out. Then I'll do a quick cardio and learning. So I watch my own videos. I watch the top 10 rules from my own
That's
channel.
awesome.
While I mean, I make it for I want it. Today I was watching Richard Branson's top 10 rules, right? Because I need the reminder, right? As much as I've done, I'm still nothing compared to Richard Branson and Steve Jobs and Oprah Winfrey and the people I look up to. And so I want them talking to me every morning. Like, imagine you get a phone call with Richard Branson. That's basically what I'm doing. And every morning I get somebody else while I'm running, right? You can do a physical task and a mental task at the same time. So I'm running. I got these like weights on me, and I'm learning from somebody new. Then I'll spend time just quickly setting my intention for the day. I'll look at my calendar, do a quick journal to say, what do I want to do today? I say, oh, I get to talk to Alan today. This is great. When was the last time we connected? What's he up to? And I look at my calendar just to set myself up for, how do I want to show up today? Then I'll spend time with my wife. And so we'll do a meditation together, and then go outside, take the dogs, have some fun, maybe record some videos. This is like, as of the past 2 weeks, a new addition to my schedule, where we challenge ourselves to say, hey, how can we just not be productive in the morning, but how can we have fun? Like, do we want to show up and have fun together in the morning? And what would that look like? So meditation into the walking, and just time outside together. And then I go through, different, my websites and kind of business stuff. And then just get into my day. And every day I have different things. So we're recording this on a Thursday. Thursday is my interview day. So I just got off an IG Live. I'm talking to you. I'm going to another IG Live after. It's just nonstop interviews and Zoom calls and Instagram Lives all day. Because I think more important than anything else almost is the energy that you're in. I think to switch energy from talking to you and being all hyped, and then writing my book for 40 minutes. And then, like, I can't write a book in 40 minutes. It takes me 40 minutes just to get back into what I was writing last time. Yeah. So I need an entire day. So I try to block off my days. I think the most important thing, though, more than just learning from me, is the value of a morning routine. And chances are, your audience has a morning routine. Most of the world wakes up without a morning routine. Most of the world wakes up like an accident and just falls into other people's agenda, right? It's like, wake up, look at the phone. Oh my God, emergencies. And there's no intention, there's no planning. That's probably not your audience, but that's most of the world. But here's the thing with achievers. We have a morning routine. Most of your audience probably has a morning routine. But the most important thing out of anybody's morning routine is the feeling that you get at the end of it. And this is really hard for achievers. So I think a morning routine should help you feel bold, powerful, confident, alive, ready to take on the day. That's the whole point, at least for me, of having a morning routine. If you're not feeling bold, powerful, confident, ready to take on the day, you didn't do your morning routine properly. And what trap that a lot of achievers fall into is just checking the boxes to say, okay, read, check, meditate, check, pray, check, walk outside, check, watch the video, check. Great, I did it. But you didn't feel any of it, because you're also brushing your teeth at the same time, or you're also doing the dishes at the same time, or you're also, like, your mind is wandering somewhere else. And so you've done everything on your checklist, but you don't feel alive, bold, and confident, ready to take on the day. And so this is where achievers need to look at that and then have a little gut check at the end. Like, how do I feel? Out of 10, how am I feeling on my confidence scale? If you're under 8, you got to go back and do it again. Or you have to add something else to your morning routine because it's broken. And this is where we'll pat ourselves on the back for just checking the boxes and say, yep, did it again, crushed it. But you don't actually feel great. No, you didn't do it properly. You have to go back and do it again.
Okay, awesome. How do you keep your energy up throughout the day?
I think the biggest thing for this is doing work that actually excites you. Again, if I was doing accounting all day long, man, I would hate my life.
Me too.
I would hate my life. I'd have to be, I'd have to be listening to music or something just to get me going. But this is talking to you is easy. In talking to you right now, we've been talking for, I don't know, 20 minutes or whatever. You're not taking energy away from me. You're giving me energy. You are charging my battery to then I take that to the next guy. And at the end, I'm feeling full, not the other way around. So the biggest energy hack, aside from, yes, like get enough sleep and all that, is actually doing work that gives you energy. So think about, and this is a great filter for friends and the people around you. There's some people who you might consider friends, but when you leave them, you feel worse. You feel low energy. You need a nap. You feel like they've the energy vampires. They've sucked your energy away. You want to stop hanging out with those people. You want to be around people where even if you just talk for 3 hours, you feel amazing. And then incorporate as many as that into your life as possible, from the people you hang out with to the customers you're working with to the work that you're doing. Then you don't have to think about it. Then you don't have to plan it, because it's automatically happening to you on a daily basis. So back to your calendar, if you're scheduling out your days, look at those days and see how much of this is actually going to be energizing for me, instead of, oh, I need to make sure I'm showing up because this is going to take everything I've got.
Okay, awesome. You said something like really interesting here. So it's about doing the work that you really love, and also having people that try to put you up, like try to energize you. How can you do if, for example, if you are surrounded by people who are trying to put you down, and people who are really close to you, it can be your family or your lover, and like they don't support you, and like they're really close, and it will be like really tough to just say, okay, go away. You know what I mean? Like how can, is there a way that like to try to deal with that, or just people should have a talk with this person and say, hey, you should support me, like what would be the solution to that?
Yeah, I would not recommend making somebody else feel guilty or telling somebody else what they should be doing. Understand that the person, if they're friends of yours, or like, air quotes friends that came from high school or something, maybe you have to move on, right? I think a lot of times we stay in friendships out of convenience, and also out of fear that we won't find any other friends, so we might as well just stick with these people. But you've grown, and maybe you shouldn't be their friends anymore, right? I think you have to, it's not that they're bad people or you're a bad person, you've just grown apart, and you should be on to bigger and better things. For family, in some extreme cases, people do, just leave their family, move on because it's insanely toxic. For the most part, though, I would lead with empathy. If you think that people are good, if you think that people are built to serve, why is your mom being so negative and toxic? One, she doesn't like her life either. Like if someone's going to come at you with a lot of negativity, but you think that people are good and they're built to serve, why would somebody throw so much negativity? It's because they're in pain. Your mom, your family, they're in pain. They don't like their life either. And they're projecting. So just like, a baby, if you have a baby, you put them in diapers because you expect them to poop themselves because they can't control it. You expect it to happen. An adult, you wouldn't expect to poop in their pants, but you expect it for a baby, right? So that's what I do, is treat them like babies. Like if somebody is in pain, I expect them to be negative. I don't expect somebody who hates their life and is in pain to be happy, loving, optimistic, cheering you on, giving you claps while they're living in a hellhole, hating their life, right? So I expect them to poop their pants. And that empathy can remove the sting of the words. It doesn't hurt as much because they're hurting more than you are. Second is understand that your parents probably love you. Probably, right? There's like a good chance that your parents love you. So why would somebody who loves you be throwing so much negativity at you besides pain? Is because they have a different definition of success. Success to them looks like this, in this box that they grew up with. The world has changed since your parents were your age, right? Whether that's 20, 30, 40 years, the world has changed. The opportunities, so I'm 40 right now. My parents are on the wall behind me here, right? I love them. The opportunities to me as a 40-year-old now were not available to my parents when they were 40. And so they don't understand the same things that are available, that are open. They see success as, a lot of people still, success is go become a lawyer, go to school and become a lawyer. And that's it. Like, what? There's so many ways to win now. You don't have to just go become a lawyer and hate your life if that's not your thing. You know, much love and appreciation to all the lawyers who love their life out there. But if that's not you, there's so many ways that you can win. And so a lot of times they do want you to win. They do want you to be successful. They just have a different definition of success. And then the third strategy there I would say is just limit off what you talk about, right? So you have empathy that they're in pain. You understand that they have a different version of success. This requires you to be the adult in the relationship, which is a hard thing to do. You think your parents, like you grow up and your parents know best and you're listening to them, but now you need to be the adult. You need to stop being the kid and you need to be their parent and be the bigger person in the conversation, right? So you have empathy for them. They're in pain. They love you. They want you to have success. You just have a different definition of it. And then 3 is you might limit off access to topics. So if you know that anytime you talk about career, it just ends up in a giant fight, don't talk about career. Instead of saying, why don't you support me? I want you to support me on this. You just don't talk about that subject. And you say, hey, every time we talk about this, it ends up in a fight. I love you. I don't want to talk about it. Let's talk about something else that you can talk about. There's a million topics you could cover with your family. Talk about those things that you know make you come alive. And
Really
then
powerful. Yeah.
And then just quickly, the last step is like you need to surround yourself with people who fill you with the positivity. So if you're limiting or cutting off access to those people who are filling your head with negative thoughts, you're taking that down, but now you've got a void. You fill it with Alain, you fill it with Elon Musk, you fill it with Evan Carmichael, you fill it with the people who make you feel like great things are possible. Now that's by choice. And maybe you can't hang out with, Alain every day. Maybe he's not taking on mentorship and he won't call you to wake you up in the morning and give you a cookie or something, but he's got videos and he's got programs and he's doing more of these episodes. And so, whoever those people are for you that make you feel like it's possible, you inject that into your daily routine.
That's really powerful. How can people surround themselves with their heroes? For example, let's say that I want to meet Tony Robbins and it's one of my goals. How could I go about that? Or for example, someone else wants to meet someone that is in the top of their field. How can they approach these like high-end people and how can they network with this kind of people? What would be the strategies or the communication skills needed for that?
So start with like, what's the goal? Why do you want to meet Tony Robbins? What's the value you're going to get from meeting Tony Robbins?
Because it's someone that has really inspired my life and really like he made who I am because of his teachings and everything and his life philosophy and all of that.
But what's the outcome you want? You want to just say thank you? Are you trying to ask a certain question? Like, what do you want to get out of it?
An interview.
Great. And I mean, I've had Tony Robbins on my channel, so I can speak from a little bit of experience on that. So first off, for a lot of people who want to learn from these people, recognize that, Tony Robbins is not taking on interns where you can just go and be around him 24/7, right? All these people are super busy. They value their time. But step one is you can still learn from them. Tony Robbins has already had an impact on you, changed your life, given you tons of growth opportunities, even though he has no idea who you are. And you can continue to learn from him. Richard Branson, I had the fortune to meet, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. But it's not like we're hanging out and we're buddies and I can call him at Necker Island and, but I can still learn from him. I learned from him today through the video that I watched, even though I don't have his private number and he's not going to send some jet for me to come visit him. So you can still continue to learn from these people. Like, how do I be around those people? Well, you can do it every day. Like if somebody's listening who loves Tony Robbins, you could be around Tony Robbins every single day. There's videos, there's books, there's programs, there's podcasts, he's got an app with all sorts of programs, right? You could be around him every day and learn from him and grow without ever having met him, right? So I think as a step one, most people want to meet the person to get mentored, to say, I want to learn how to be like them. But you can already do that right now through their content and interviews and programs, right? You can learn from Steve Jobs, even though he's passed on and you're never going to meet him. then now to actually like build a relationship, whether you want to have him as an interview or anything else, now you need to figure out how can I bring value to his goals. I have a saying that I want to be somebody's chief goal officer. What are their goals? What's his most important goal right now? And you look at Instagram and Twitter and YouTube, and you look at what he's posting and talking about, and then you try to figure out a way to add value to what he cares about. It's not what necessarily you think is important. It's what he thinks is important, right? Tony just did his first UPW online. Out of decades of being, in person, he did his first one online. He cares a lot about the Underground Railroad and like helping people not be sold into slavery. Yeah. But like, what does he care about right now? What is he posting about right now? And then how can you help? So my Tony Robbins experience, just to you get a sense, I did a top 10 on him, and he, his team found it, put it up on the YouTube channel, and I said, hey, can I do an interview? I'd love to do an interview with Tony. And they said, okay, let's make that happen. And we had a day where we're supposed to do it. And the day of, or the day before, no, it's the day of, they canceled on me. And they said, sorry, Evan, Tony's got some emergency. He can't do it right now, but we'll reschedule. I'm like, okay, no problem. And this was now years of me helping and trying to find connections and supporting and retweeting stuff and making YouTube videos and just trying to be a force for good, because Tony's had an impact on my life too. And I finally got the interview, and then the day of, they cancel.
Wow.
And they promised to reschedule. And so, okay, great. Next step, I'm going to continue to help, continue to outreach, continue to retweet, continue to share. It took 2 years to get the interview.
2 years. Wow.
2 years from when they canceled on me and he promised that they would do another one. It took 2 years to actually get that second interview. And it's one, Tony's super busy, and two, I didn't do enough. I mean, how do I stand out even more? How do I, right? But then from there, so it happened to be his book came out. They were doing, 6 digital interviews like this through the internet, and they made me one of the 6. It's like, hey, thank you so much for all the help over the past 2 years. I know we canceled on you way back. Let's finally make it happen. It's like, oh my God, it's happening finally. I was the most nervous wreck. It's like, of all the people I've interviewed, probably the most nerve wracking. And then at the end, when we shut off the camera, he invited me to go to his event in New Jersey, put me in his special seating. We met backstage, and I've been more involved in his team and what they're working on. But it's basically figuring out how can you be somebody's chief goal officer? How can you bring them incredible value and consistent, incredible, ongoing value so that they recognize your name? Because one, there's so many people. The bigger the person is, there's so many people kind of chasing them down. And two, most people just give up and like, okay, I reached out to him 4 times, so I guess I'm going to stop and go do something else. It's like, I did it. And then I got a yes. And then I did it again for 2 more years until we finally got the thing. And it's not just, I want to get an interview. I also want to see him win. I want more people to know him. I want, it actually made me sad when I passed him on YouTube subscribers, because like, how does Tony Robbins have 500,000 subscribers when I have 2 million, right? He should have like 50 million.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's just constant looking for ways to be their chief goal officer and bring them and their team value in what they care about, not so much what you care about.
That's awesome. That's really powerful advice, man. Let's talk a little bit about failure right now. Okay. What is your biggest failure that you had? Because most people are afraid to take action because they may fail. Could you talk a little bit about the biggest failure that you had and how it served your life?
Yeah. So again, most people are afraid to take action. Fear is not a good enough reason. You say it, now you got to do it just because. I've trained myself so much to when I hear those words, I'm afraid. Trigger, ding, 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 ding. I got to do it. Right. So like, that's how you start shifting. The two big ones came early in my career when I was 19, 20, where one, I quit on my business. I called my partner. I quit on him. I just was not making any money. I'm making $300 a month. I just feel worthless. I'm working my face off every day and just nothing. Like, imagine working all day, every day, not seeing friends, eating beans for lunch every day, and just and you're making $300. It sucked.
Yeah.
So I called and said I quit because I need to feel, not anything against you or the company. I just need to feel valuable. And I woke up the next day and I said, I can't quit yet. Because I'm going to regret it if I quit. But I can't keep doing it the way that I've been doing it because this is just obviously not working. So that's where I said, somebody must have done this before. And I thought of Bill Gates. Guy had a software company. Bill Gates was the only software guy I could think of who started Microsoft. And I said, okay, what did Bill Gates do to start his business? And I started modeling his strategies, like 0 to 1. How did he get started? Not how does Bill Gates make $1 million? He probably makes $1 million, in a second. You can't copy that, but like 0 to 1, how did he do that? And that started shifting my company. And what have I done for the past 20 years is teach people how to model success. Like I'm still doing it right now. I want to model. Today I was modeling Richard Branson's success, learning from him. So I think out of your greatest failures, out of your greatest pain, comes a thing that you're going to help inspire others through and your purpose.
Awesome. So this was the first failure, and then you said like you had a second one.
Yeah, I like it, dude. I was like, should I tell the second story? But Alain's got the memory. Yeah. So just starting off with the failure for sure at the beginning, like still in the same business. The second one was that $40 million deal that I lost when I was 20, or 20. Yeah, 20. It was just by being a perfectionist. I would much rather be a perfectionist. I mean, I'm still a recovering perfectionist because I don't want to disappoint people. I don't want to let people down. And so I'll show up and over deliver. And I spent an entire summer working on a business plan that as soon as we got to market, like, okay, now it's perfect. We got it to market and we realized, oh, it's not perfect. And we went and pitched a company that we thought would be a perfect fit for us. And they said, no. And no, what do you mean no? I mean, it's perfect. It just makes so much sense. How would you say no? And they said, no, not interested. And it just totally blew my mind because it was perfect. So then we went to another company and they were very interested in working with us and maybe even buying us. And they were talking, we found out, to our biggest competitor, and they loved us, but they said, you know what? We're already talking to these guys. We've been talking to them for a couple months. We have to move quickly. So we're going to buy them and not you. And that was a $40 million deal. And if I didn't spend those 3 months working on my plan, my perfect plan, and we just started talking to these guys, not guarantee that we would have got the deal, but 50% chance. I take 50% chance at $40 million when I'm, 20 years old. I would take those odds. And so that taught me to stop being a perfectionist. That the lesson learned is I just got to go, right? Like I don't want to lose my next $40 million deal because I was trying to make it too perfect and I was too afraid to start. They all still tie back into the lessons from the start, right? Like what would I tell myself? Just start, just do it, go. Because I felt the real pain of waiting too long. And in 3 months, just 3 months, to think about 3 months is not a long time period, but in waiting 3 months, I lost a $40 million deal. Wow. Would have been life-changing.
And do you think like this failure that you had, it made you a better man and it made you make more money after that? Because most people see failure so much less as it's the end of the world. Like the failure, it's over, the life is over. And this is my question to you.
So failure, especially big failures, are going to be life-defining moments. This will define who you are, either in a negative way or in a positive way. You get to choose. Most people opt into the negative way. So because I failed, that means I'll never win. That means I can't try again. That means it's over. That means I have to go live a life that I hate and go get a job that I hate. And a lot of people then now use that negative energy to tear other people down. Well, because I couldn't do it, now nobody else around me can do it either. And I'm gonna crap on everybody else's ideas and tell them that they can't win either. Or you can choose to say, no, this is going to serve me. I'm going to learn a lesson. The quitting on my business partner led me to modeling success. That's what I've done for the past 20 years. The losing a $40 million deal led me to now not being a perfectionist, right? So it's going to define you either way. The default easy way is to live in the negativity. The harder but more empowering way is to choose to learn something from it, make you better, to go build something else.
Awesome. How can people deal with self-doubt? Because when you launch your companies, how did you deal with the little voice saying, hey, maybe you're not good enough, maybe you're going to fuck up? Like, how did you deal with this little voice that is inside you?
So how I deal with it now is very different than how I would before. Now I'm a lot better at it than I used to be, because I had no strategies, because I just succumbed to the self-doubt. Now it's still the same thing. We're like, what's the self-doubt? Well, it's still fear. It's scary. It's too difficult. Great. Not good enough reason. Go. Right. It's like that's the record that keeps looping. What am I so afraid of? I'm afraid. Great. And now I have to do it just because. And then the second thing that really helps me there is defaulting to service. So if I was afraid to come on this show for you today, I would once tell myself, well, being afraid isn't a good enough reason, so I have to do it just because. Even if I come on and just vomit all over my microphone, I'm still going to show up and I'm going to pat myself on the back because I did the scary thing, right? Again, it's not about the results, it's about the effort. The second thing, though, is service, to say, I'm not here for me. I'm not here to promote my book or to sell some course. I'm here to try to serve Alain and his audience, and hopefully I have something that would be of value to the people listening. And so I still do that, right? Like today, I still do that. Earlier this year, I was speaking in Whistler at Ed Milet. He's got this membership, his mastermind, where people pay $50,000, $60,000 to be there in the room. And at the event, nobody knows who the speakers are until you show up. And then I saw the list, and it was me. Before me was David Goggins, who's like the most intense man alive.
Yeah.
And then after is Peyton Manning, who is maybe the greatest football player, American football of all time. And I'm in the middle. Like David Goggins to me, to Peyton Manning, are you kidding me? Can you give me some like easy people or something? And immediately self-doubt, lack of belief, like what am I going to share compared to these guys? And so one, like I do difficult things, let's go. And two, service, to say, hey, Ed Milet brought me here for a reason. I was going to talk about YouTube strategies at that event for entrepreneurs. And what does David Goggins know about YouTube? Right? Like nothing. What does Peyton Manning know about YouTube? Zero. I can help these people. I'm here to serve. It's not about me. It's about helping the audience here, people who've paid good money to be here, and I'm going to go out and help them. And that combination always gets me to do the thing, so that I do difficult things, and that I'm not here for me. I'm here to serve. I'm here to help. Because most of the things you want to do, they're not just for selfish reasons. You know, even in interviewing Tony, it's sure selfish to say, well, if I get Tony, it's a dream come true for me and my hero, and then I can use his name to get other people on my show too. But you also want to get a good interview to help your audience. Yeah. To ask him questions that other people haven't asked him, to try to, one, say thank you to him, but then also get knowledge from him that can serve people. So lean in on that instead of leaning in on, I'd love to get him because it's going to be great for my numbers, right? Yeah. Like that switch changes how you show up. And that's how I deal with self-doubt still to today.
Awesome. What is your last message for success?
To make yourself proud today. A closing message, I guess, is make yourself proud today. Like if you get inspired by this, you know that you want to be in a different spot. You're not fully happy with where your life is at right now. What are you going to do today? Not tomorrow, not Monday, not on your birthday, not next year, January 1st. Like today matters. Show up today. I want to make something that my grandkids are going to listen to. That's my intention. Like showing up for this interview is I want my grandkids to listen. I want it to be so good that my grandkids are going to listen to it. Of all my interviews that I've done over my career, like this one today is the one that they're going to listen to. And that may not happen, but it's my intention showing up every day, right? So anybody listening, watching, that care about success, your own personal success, it's going to happen by you showing up starting today, because tomorrow the energy is gone. So what can you do right now to make yourself proud?
Awesome. That was an awesome interview. Thank you so much, Evan. If you want to get his book, the link is in the description. That was really an amazing interview. Thank you so much, Evan. That was really amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alain. Much love. If you want to see another awesome interview I did, check the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.